Are you like me? Do you have trouble with these things? Felt tip pens. I mean, there are so many different types of felt tip pens available, aren't there? Just look at this lot. What have we got here then? We've got jumbo marker, micro marker, magic marker, thick point, thin point, chisel point, expensive ones, cheap ones. Do you know what? They are so confusing. All right, let's get it sorted out once and for all. Basically, there are two types of marker, permanent marker and water-based marker. So let's take the permanent marker first. As their name implies, permanent markers are permanent, which means they don't come off, which means they don't smear. So when you're doing a drawing that you've done in one colour, you can just go right across it with another colour and it doesn't smear. You don't get that horrible muddy effect. Now, another good thing about permanent markers is you can draw on almost anything. You can draw on paper, obviously. You can also draw on glass. Now, here's an old picture that I was going to throw out. Just do a little doodle on it like that. Look at that. And the permanent marker even goes on the glass. Looks better, doesn't it? In fact, it will even go on plastic. Here we are, plastic bag. Just do a little design on this, just to jazz it up a little bit. Like that. And it goes on very easily. In fact, it feels great. Just really slippy. And it goes. And when it's dry, of course, it's permanent. And there it is. In fact, you can even draw on cloth and fabric. Look at this little design I've done there, the American flag. And in fact, permanent marker is so permanent, it doesn't even come off in water. Watch this. There it is. Drawing I've done there with permanent marker, and it's absolutely fast. Of course, the fact that it doesn't come off in water means that it's difficult to get off your hands and your fingers, and it's almost impossible to get off your clothes. On the other hand, water-based markers are very easy to get off. Now, the good thing about water-based markers is there's lots of different types available. You can get different sizes, lots of different colours, and they do tend to be a lot cheaper. And the good thing about them is you can mix the colours. Now, you can't do this with permanent marker. Look at that, bit of blue, and then on top of it, I'm going to do some yellow, and look at that. It goes to green. Yellow and blue make green. Now, you can't do that with permanent marker. The bad thing about water-based marker is they do smear. Watch this. I've done this picture in black water-based marker. I tried to colour it in with yellow, and look what happens. The colours smear all over the place. So you have to be really careful when you're colouring in with water-based markers. Be careful the colours don't touch. So your water-based markers aren't as permanent as your permanent markers, but you can mix the colours. Now, one thing generally that's bad about felt tip pens is you can't get many different shades or tones. They tend to be one flat colour, like this red and this blue. But you can get round this by using other things on top of them. What about a bit of wax crayon to give it some shading? And that goes on top of felt tip pen very easily. Look at that, it gives a good shading effect. And believe it or not, an ordinary pencil, this one's a blue pencil, will easily go over felt pen. And again, you can shade with different coloured pencils, so you don't need different coloured markers for that. And what about just some ordinary chalk? Give it a bit of a highlight on the top there, like that. And one there, like that. Good effect, isn't it? Try it yourself. Experiment with felt tip pens.